Folks, on Tuesday, the Republican leadership agreed to move President Trump's legislative agenda in a sweeping bill, or as Trump refers to it, one big, beautiful bill, paves the path to approve budget-related legislation with a simple majority in the United States Senate. They call it reconciliation. Joining me now is Indiana Congressman Marlin Stutzman. It's good to see you, Congressman. You're a returning member of Congress. Little fun fact here. You were out of office with President Trump back in 2016. Then you left office with President Trump. Now you both are back in Washington at the same time. On this reconciliation thing, most conservatives are opposed to big bills like this. But doesn't the GOP need to show real and structural reductions in overspending to tackle this nation's massive and harmful debt?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, Trump's win was a mandate, and we need to be responsive to the electorate and to what the people are expecting, not only from what President Trump told them that he would do, but also what House Republicans and House senators told the electorate as well before the election, that we're going to start curbing the cost of inflation, that we're going to fix our border, and that we're going to make sure that our economy is growing again, and deal with our defense issues that we've seen. We've seen wars pop up around the world ever since Trump left office in 2020. And so that's why, you know, in this case, we've got to walk and chew gum all at once and put these important issues in one big, beautiful bill, as Trump likes to call it, and make sure that we address each of these issues to move through Congress, so that way we move quickly. Because I'll tell you, Chris, the economy is tough. We see it at home, where people are still, you know, trying to work hard to make ends meet. And by moving quickly, we can start getting this economy back on track.
Well, after the big, beautiful bill is done, let's just say that it gets done. Look, I don't have to tell you, and we're going to get a little bit in the weeds here, but there's a point, folks. There's something called regular order, and this is where 12 appropriation bills are debated. They are passed in the House, they're sent over to the Senate. The Senate does its work, they get reconciled, and they get sent to the president. The Congress hasn't been doing a real budget, as you know, Congressman, for 27 years. They've done fake budgets. It's why we're $37 trillion in debt right now, is because we've had foolish and irresponsible, quote, leadership in charge of both political parties. Let's be fair. Let me put it this way. Don't you think it is incumbent on Republican members to insist to the Speaker, we don't care what the Senate's going to do, we're going to do our work and get back to regular order? 12 appropriation bills by the end of June, done.
Yes, Chris, thank you for bringing up that particular issue, because, you know, a lot of House members have not served in a state legislature. I served in the state legislature in Indiana back when Mitch Daniels was governor, and we had a very aggressive agenda when Mitch was elected, and we had a small majority. We only had a 2-seat majority, and we worked through with regular order. And, you know, we worked on a 2-year budget, and we gave Governor Daniels 2 years to balance the budget, and he did it in 1. But working together and going and following a regular order actually makes the process a much better process. Unfortunately, because of the problems that we have in the CR activity and just continuing resolutions, like you said, it's been years since we've actually followed regular order. I didn't even see it when I was here after I was elected in 2010. But Congress has just continued to operate this way, and we've got to stop it. We've got to break this cycle and get back to regular order. And that's, you know, Chris, yes, it's always amazing when you follow the rules that were outlined at the very beginning. It's amazing how good things happen.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what? And Congress behaving like a bunch of crazy teenagers with mommy and daddy's credit card, those days should be over. Shame on Mitch McConnell and for Paul Ryan and others for getting us perpetuating this cycle. All right, President Trump has signed an executive order declassifying files related to the assassinations of former President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King, the great Dr. Martin Luther King. Realistically, what are you hearing? How soon are we actually going to see the information?
You know, first of all, I'm glad that he did it. You know, I was born in 1976, and of course, you know, that was part of my early upbringing and the stories of JFK and RFK, and of course, Martin Luther King assassinations. And you know, thank God that President Trump was protected by the assassin's bullet this last year, because I believe that we would be in a major crisis in this country. But you know what? I think it's important that these are released for the benefit of all of us as Americans, because we're already talking about how the deep state is mistreating people across the country, has been mistreating President Trump while he was out of office and in office. And so I think it's really critical. My hope is that it doesn't take long. It shouldn't take long. And but again, as we're seeing in some of these cases with the January 6th detainees and others, the deep state's not moving quickly. So I think he'll get it done. I truly believe that President Trump has been elected for a time such as this. And when he releases and asks for these files to be released, they need to move quickly and release them to the general public so the American people can truly know what happened.
Last thing I want to cover with you is something that I call ideological bigotry. It has become fashionable in certain areas of, well, government, the federal governments, some state governments, and in a lot of corporate America to treat conservatives terribly. It's called ideological bigotry. Because you're a conservative, they get to treat you poorly. Earlier in the show, President Trump directly called out certain banks for their reported discrimination against conservatives. Isn't that a cautionary tale for every business with this new America First administration? For all businesses who have ties to government, this kind of prejudice won't be tolerated?
Absolutely. And I was actually kind of surprised today to see that his comments, and I'm glad that he made those remarks, because at the end of the day, we live in a free country, and it doesn't matter if you're on the left or on the right side. We need to make sure that people are treated with the same opportunities and the same, ability to be able to practice, whether they're in business or whether it's their personal information. But banks should not be picking and choosing. We saw this a lot, especially when it pertained to our gun manufacturers. That banks decided they're not going to bank gun manufacturing or anybody that's connected to some sort of gun manufacturing. So I really applaud Trump for saying something today and making this conversation be out in the open where people can actually talk about it. That's been one thing that's happened over the past several years under the Biden administration, is they have shut down conversations like this.